The following is a paid program.
The sponsored by Henningsen Injury Attorneys.
Hello and welcome to Lawyer Talk. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're really excited about the show that we have planned for you. We hope that it's an informational, educational half hour that we have designed. A couple of the ground rules. We'd love to have you make note of this contact information. The number to know should you have a question or you think you might have a case and you want to just to kind of find out if there is a case there or not. The number to know is 404-835-4935, 404-835-4935, or you can head to the website if you'd rather email. That website is atlantapiattorney.com. Make note of that. That's information that you're going to want to have at your fingertips. I want to welcome in our legal expert, Todd Henningsen. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you as well.
Thanks for being with us. Looking forward to our conversation today. I think we're going to cover some ground that's going to be helpful to a whole lot of folks.
I think so too.
So first of all, help us understand your practice, your firm, kind of the cases you all handle on a regular basis.
Sure. So we're a full-service personal injury firm that handles cases all throughout the state of Georgia.
Okay.
Whether it be medical malpractice, auto cases, catastrophic injury cases. I mean, I think we've seen how lawyers have started to slowly, even in personal injury, have become more and more specialized. We're kind of jack of all trades. We can do all of that. Workers' compensation, simple auto cases, premises cases, slip and falls, all of those things. So full service personal injury firm, located, right here in Atlanta, and but can help all throughout the state.
Right. Now, you have been in practice about 17 years, so nearly 2 decades you've been at this, a great deal of success, and really have helped a whole lot of folks. Your path to this, you have your own firm now, but you haven't always had that, have you?
No. I actually got my JD MBA, which is my law degree, and my master's in business. And I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know if I wanted to go the law route or go the business route. And was fortunate enough to get a job with a very fine firm, and loved my boss. Still do. Think he's a great guy. He's a mentor to me, and just fell in love with personal injury. Being able to help people, being able to see somebody in a situation that they didn't ask to be presented with a number of questions, concerns, and we're able to provide a lifeboat for them to go.
Right. What I would like to do in the next half hour is really kind of deal with one topic that I dare say is the biggest question that folks ask whenever they believe they may have a case, and that is who should my attorney be, and how do I go about choosing that? Because if you watch television, there are a number of options out there, right?
Yes.
Yeah, there is a bunch of them. Sometimes I think it can be confusing and you don't know what to look for, who to look for, what do I need, do I have a case? A bunch of questions that is overwhelming. So I'd like us just to really try to drill down on that today. So if you believe you have a case and you are looking for an attorney, in your nearly 2 decades now experience at this, what are the questions that our viewers should be asking?
There's a lot.
Okay.
And so what we're talking about is the bar rules don't allow you to differentiate yourself that much as a lawyer, right? You can't say you're the best lawyer. They don't want false advertising claims and things like that, because that's a very subjective term, right? You can say I focus in personal injury. You can say something objective that is, hey, we resolved this case for $1 million. Not all cases are the same. Things of that nature. But what you're seeing right now is, I think, an influx of attorneys trying to turn a quicker dollar than maybe should be turned. What we want is to go with the firm, if I'm looking, or for my family member or friend, that I'm not just a number.
Right, yeah. So personal service.
It is. This is a service-based industry. I mean, do you want a doctor who has 10,000 patients, or do you want the doctor that has, 100 patients?
Right.
And so you need to look at it from that perspective. I think that it should raise alarm bells for you and create some concern if you see that the person has billions and billions recovered means a lot of people.
Right, yeah.
Do they have the resources and staff to handle that?
Yeah.
Are you just a number? Because the concern that we have is you're just a number to the insurance company.
Right.
And I always say this, I'm not here to make insurance companies look bad, but you are. You are a liability on their books, if you will. And if they can pay you $1 to sign the dotted line and go away, they'll pay you the $1. Right. Well, it's our job as lawyers to provide the personalized service and communicate effectively to show them that you aren't just a person or another number, that you're a person to them.
Right. How often when folks call you at the number 404-835-4935, how common is it for you to let them know they really don't have a case?
A lot. It's fairly often. I mean, we'll tell them, we believe for this reason or whatever reason. That could be a statute of limitations issue. It could be that liability is incorrect, or we don't believe we can prove liability. Mm-hmm. So when people call, we're happy to have that discussion. I mean, we are certainly happy. I think most people, though, have a sense that they have a case.
Right.
They do. The viewers at home, right now, if you're sitting there and you've been injured or you have a loved one that's been injured, and you're sitting there, you have that just general sense of right and wrong. If you got rear-ended in an auto collision and you're sitting there in pain and you need medical treatment, you need to give us a call.
Right.
I mean, that's pretty straightforward. Mm-hmm. Sometimes people will call us and they know that liability is clear, and the other car ran the red light and hit me, and they're suffering from injuries. They know they need a lawyer. They just don't know the right one.
Yeah. What is the cost of that initial that initial phone call, that initial meeting with you?
There is no cost whatsoever. It is a free consultation. And if you decide and we decide that we want to work together, then we work on what's called a contingency fee basis, which means there is no fee unless and until we're successful on your claim. So there's no upfront cost, no money comes out. It's only if we win that we are able to be paid. Okay.
As a businessman as well as an attorney,
sure.
You kind of mentioned it, the advertising and all the ads that are on television. Any advice to how to know if it's someone, if an attorney is trustworthy and someone that I can trust and someone that is a good fit?
Yeah, there's a lot of advice. I mean, trust is the most important aspect of the relationship that you're going to have with your attorney. Because if you can't trust what your attorney is saying, then how do you know how to follow his or her advice?
Right. Yeah.
With my firm, you're predominantly going to be dealing with me or somebody directly underneath me and my staff. Mm-hmm. I don't want to compare myself too much to the commercial advertisers, but they got to pay a lot of money for those commercials, and that's got to come from somewhere.
Right. Yeah.
And that means that there's a heavy workload and high profit margins, and things are moving pretty quickly. Right. It would not be for me, and it wouldn't be a recommendation that I would have for any family member or friends. But you've got to go with your gut.
Yeah.
At my firm, you're going to be in a situation in which when the phone rings and the person's saying, hey, I want to talk to someone about a new case. I want to talk to Todd, or I want to talk to whoever's on duty at the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because 24/7, you can pick up the phone. We spend the time to go over the reasons why. And if we don't know an answer, we'll get the answer for you.
Right.
I've always told all of my clients, I don't know the answer to everything, but I most of the time know how to go find the answer if we don't know it.
Right.
And so we want to make sure that we're doing a thorough investigation and we're giving you the information that you need.
Okay. To get in touch with the folks at Henningsen Personal Injury Attorneys, again, the number to know, and you can call this number right now, 404-835-4935. Again, 404-835-4935, or the website, atlantapiattorney.com. How vital is location? Well, let me ask it this way. Does location matter when it comes to choosing an attorney?
Yeah, I think it does in general. I mean, you don't have to have an attorney that's geographically 5 minutes from your house.
Right.
Yeah. But you want an attorney who's located in Georgia and has a practice in Georgia. I mean, if the incident happened in Georgia, you want that.
Why is that so important?
Well, if the attorney's not licensed in Georgia, how are they going to know Georgia law? How are they going to know how to properly protect your rights? I mean, I'm licensed in Virginia as well, and Georgia. But somebody calls me from Oregon, I'm not going to take that case. I mean, it's rare that happens, but I don't even know where to begin, because although the laws have a lot of similarities amongst all of the states, there's a lot of nuances that are different. Right. And so you want to make sure that if you've got a Georgia rec, you're getting a Georgia-based attorney. Super smart.
Okay. All right. Let me ask you about this. What about focus of practice? Because you kind of earlier you talked about the different things that you handle. Sometimes you see ads that just cover the whole gamut. How important is that, kind of the focus of practice and an area of expertise that really does fit nicely with what maybe the case may be or your need as a client may be?
Sure. The law, just like everything in this world, is constantly evolving. You want an attorney who specializes, focuses in the practice area that you're looking for, whether it be medical malpractice, car wrecks, all of those things. I hesitate to say this, and some lawyers may not like me saying this, but a jack of all trades, master of none attorney, it just doesn't really exist. I mean, I can tell you right now, I would be horrible at writing a will. I just don't do it. So, or if you told me that you needed me to defend you on some big felony count or some criminal charge, I would say you've got the wrong person. Mm-hmm. I think there's a notion in personal injury that this can be easily accomplished because it seems simple in its practice. I would not go to a general practitioner. If it was me and it was my family, I would want somebody who focuses in on this area of the law, which obviously we do, because we have to stay up to date on it. And I can tell you that there are people that believe that they can do it, but they haven't stayed up to date on it, and it could be a detriment for you.
Yeah. There was this, even an author who put this in the book, the whole idea of 10,000 hours. You become an expert after 10,000 hours. Right. With 17 years doing this, there are certainly specific areas where you've been down this road. You're probably not as surprised by whatever walks in the door or what the phone call is, because you've handled a case similar to that.
That's right. I mean, we've handled products liability claims, auto tort claims, workers' compensation claims, medical malpractice claims, you name it, tractor trailer, catastrophic cases. I mean, you can really start to slice it thin and thin and thin and thin in terms of, well, what types of injuries have you handled?
Right.
From brain injuries to the really devastating orthopedic injuries and things like that. I mean, we've seen a lot.
Yeah. I would think in terms of as your expertise of specific areas grows, also I would think if you're going against an insurance company or a company that is at fault, you also would be much more well versed in anticipating what they're probably going to come back with, or where the holes they're going to be looking for in the case. That whole sort of experience as well would be very valuable, I would think.
Absolutely. I mean, we look to work a case from backwards to forwards. What's the end game?
Right.
Now, what are the steps that we need to get there? And so I can think of many times where a case comes in and, maybe there's another attorney with another firm and they're working on it, and they say, hey, what do you think we need an expert for this? I said, yeah, we got to get one now. I'll tell you why. Right. 3 years ago, I had an experience where we didn't have the expert, and all of a sudden we were scrambling to do it. So you have to have the experience and the know-how to do that. Mm-hmm. And the reputation. You were asking about insurance companies. Insurance companies know which attorneys advertise on TV and just settle cases.
Right. Do they?
They do, absolutely. Word gets out.
You brought up the phrase, but it is interesting to me. What about an attorney's reputation in the community? How important is it to find someone who maybe, Todd took my case and really was incredibly helpful, kind of that reputation in the community, and a positive reputation at that?
Absolutely. I think it's very important. We work with insurance companies and adjusters all the time. I've represented a lot of adjusters just from my dealings with them. They've literally called me up and said, really? I liked how you handled that case, I liked what you did, and I think I need your help with this case. It's important for the judiciary to know that you're an honest person. It's important for the defense attorneys that you're up against to know that your word is your bond on these things. Reputation is extremely important, and we pride ourselves on making sure that we're doing the right thing, and doing it with a client-centered focus to make sure that we're doing the right way for our clients.
When you talked earlier about your experience at some other law firms before you kind of went out on your own, it seems as though you've been very intentional about the kind of culture you want inside your firm and the way you all treat and deal with clients and in fact do business.
That's correct. I want to make sure that we have the processes and procedures in place, the intellectual know-how to do it, the processes in place, the resources which we have to make sure that the case is being handled properly from start to finish. And that means not just because, we could make some type of quick dollar on this or something like that. We want to make sure that at the end of the day we have done everything that you've asked us to do, and we've informed you of it. It doesn't mean that it's perfect. There's nothing perfect about this process, because I think insurance companies always want to pay you less and the client always wants more.
Right.
And I understand that. That's the nature of it. The question is, what do we think a jury would do, when we're looking at settlement value? And we've talked about that on some other shows.
Right.
So we could all agree to disagree. Reasonable minds can disagree on this. But hopefully we have always been, and we will be, honest, straightforward, and tell you where we're coming from. And knowing that based upon our experience with handling other cases and doing it for so long.
Why does that matter so much to you? Because as you speak, I can tell you that this is important to you. It's almost a mission here. Why does that matter to you? Why is that important?
There's a selfish motivation, which is, one, I want you to refer me business back. I mean, I want to stay in business for a long time, and I don't want to disappoint you, and I want you to say, hey, I recommend him, and we get a lot of recommendations from former clients. Right. So we want to make sure that we're doing that. So that's a selfish motivation on it. The other thing is, it's just the right thing to do. My parents said to me, I don't know if we need more lawyers in the world, Todd, but we need more good ones. Right. And I like to think that I practiced with some good ones who ethically wanted to do the right thing. As a matter of fact, quick example, I had a situation early on in my career, and it was whether or not I could kind of maneuver something. It would have been completely legal. The issue is, would you do it from a professional and ethical standpoint, and it doesn't gain an advantage. And my boss said to me, he said, first of all, you practice law like the judge is sitting in your office at all time. Right?
Okay.
Right? So he's always sitting in your office. And that if your mother ever read the story in the newspaper, would she be proud of you?
Wow.
And so that advice is actually really stuck with me. And it's dictated a lot of it because, hey, yeah, I wouldn't want myself to do something that, technically, legally, I'm correct on this, but now I've burned bridges with my clients or taken more money or something. I mean, it's just horrible. It's just not how I am.
Yeah. Whenever you head to the website, and again, that web address is atlantapiattorney.com, one of the things you're going to find there is a number of reviews from past clients. You'll find that there and actual endorsements of Todd and his firm. Also, you can, don't forget the phone number that you need to make note of if you would like to get in touch with Todd and his team. That number, 404-835-4935, 404-835-4935. What about years of practice? How important is experience in the legal game?
Well, I'm sure there's some brilliant attorneys that have only been practicing for 2 or 3 years. The problem is, do you want them learning on your dime? And so I just believe that the experience helps. I can get to resolution faster. I can formulate faster, and I can see what's coming clearly. And I know a lot of good young lawyers that are out there, right. And they're getting that experience, and they're working towards that, and they're going to be great lawyers and continue and have great firms. It's not to take away, but I think it should be something that you should be willing to consider. I mean, lawyers aren't, yes, you're competent once you pass the bar, technically, but if you haven't been doing this for a while and don't understand the processes, there could be things that people are missing.
Yeah. Let's talk about something that's maybe a little touchy, but that is disciplinary record, because there are many fantastic attorneys, and there are many fantastic attorneys right around here, but there are also some that are not so.
Yes.
And in the legal realm, in terms of disciplinary record, is that something that the public should know of and kind of be aware of?
They can access it. They can go onto the Georgia Bar's website and access to see whether or not an attorney's had a disciplinary record or not. It would be a concern for me depending on what the situation was, and you can find out more about that. I mean, disciplinary record means that the Georgia Bar, which is our regulating agency, has taken some type of conduct or action against you that they felt was out of bounds. So I would be very wary of that. I would be very, very wary of any attorney that contacts you unsolicited.
Okay.
We see a lot of that. It's called runners. It's a felony in the state. It is, yes, and it is rampant in this state, and I will see it. Somebody will call my office and say, I have had three attorneys call me that I don't. They said they got their number from the police officer, or what they'll do is a chiropractic group or a medical group will call you, and then try to set you up with an attorney. I would be very wary of that. That's
a red flag. Huh?
That is, to me, that is a red flag. I mean, maybe some people have had good experiences with it, but it's not right. It's not ethical. It's not legal. And anybody that's willing to skirt the ethics or the legalities to make some money and not do it the right way, I wouldn't trust that person, because it all comes down to trust and whether or not you can accept this person's advice.
Right. What about trial experience? How important is that in making the decision of whether to hire this attorney or not?
If your lawyer hasn't been in the courtroom, I don't know how they can know what to expect and how to try your case. Of course, everybody has to learn through somebody else, right? Like the first surgery performed, had to be performed as, any surgeon had to do their first. But how I learned was with sitting second chair, prepping witnesses, and then, finally you're sitting first chair, but you've got your boss sitting right next to you, right? So nobody's letting anything drop through the cracks. Then you're trying cases by yourself. But you want to have somebody that has the ability to go try a case. Insurance companies know who tries cases and who doesn't.
That's what I was thinking. I bet if I'm on the other side and I know this attorney hates being in a court and has very little trial experience,
that's right.
That's going to you'd be able to call that bluff pretty easily.
That's absolutely right, and that is an important consideration. That comes down to the nuances of how it works.
Yeah, and in advertising, one of the things you see often on billboards or television ads is verdicts won. You see that this track record, how a big trucking win or other kind of wins. You see
I have some on my website.
The big dollar amounts.
Right.
All right, but what about track record of success? In making that determination of, is this an attorney a good fit for me?
I think what you need to look at is as a whole, right? If you come into my office and I step out of the office and you're talking to my paralegal, I'd ask the paralegal, hey, is this lawyer good? Right. Is this person? Because I think you'll be surprised sometimes at what the answer would be. Some other places. Right. But your track record of success, sure. I mean, everybody likes the big numbers and the big hits and all of that, and that's a way to get your attention, and it's a way in which to attract you in. But I think we as an industry have done ourselves a disservice by doing that, because we've created this false sense of getting something for nothing, right. Jackpot justice. I don't want our biggest issue as lawyers as a whole, and as personal injury lawyers in particular, is our credibility. Right. And I think we've ruined our credibility through some of our advertisements, right. by being kind of over the top, saying that this is what you're going to get, when we could have done it much more subtly still gotten the great results,
Right.
but not advertised them in big neon lights saying what it is. Because I think it does create that false sense. So I think if you're looking at success, you want to talk to your attorney and say, I don't know how you measure success in this business, because if most of the cases end up resolving, did you win the trial? No. I mean, could you have 20 trials and you won all of them but got less than what the insurance company offered and call that a success? I guess some people would, because you won the trials, but you actually got your client less money.
Right.
So I look at success as less of a tangible thing that you can show, but more of a philosophy and culture of longevity,
Right.
staying in, and that you're seeing that former clients would recommend your services again in the future.
We just have a couple of minutes remaining, and I want to give you the opportunity for a final thought that you want to leave with our viewers.
Well, sure. First of all, if you think that you have been injured and it's through the fault of someone else or it's through workers' compensation, please just give us a call. We're here to help. We did a lot of just talking today about choosing the right lawyer for you. And I think that those are some of the factors that go into consideration. What you want is an attorney who is going to give you the information that you need. And that means listening to you and having the resources to pursue your case and the knowledge to do so. Knowledge is power in this business, and so I encourage people to talk to us, and even if you're talking to other firms, listen to what other firms said. See if they have that depth and breadth of knowledge that we do and are willing to communicate to you. And go with who is comfortable for you. I recognize we may not be the right fit for everybody, but we'd darn sure like to have a conversation with you.
Yeah. It's always enjoyable.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
I really appreciate it.
I always enjoy our time together, and I think answered a whole lot of questions for folks today, so I appreciate Todd being with us, and also we really do appreciate you being with us as well. Thanks so much for the time. As we kind of wrap things up here, a couple of reminders. Even right now, if you have a question, you think you may have a case, you want to find out if you do, call this number. The number to know is 404-835-4935, 404-835-4935, and the website to know, atlantapiattorney.com, atlantapiattorney.com. Head to that website. Again, make note, a number of reviews on that site, so it's a great way to check out Todd, his firm, and the reputation he has right here in our own community.
And the consultation's free.
Consultation is free, so no out-of-pocket expenses for you, so you don't have anything to lose. Thanks so much for the time. As always, we really do appreciate it, and we'll look for you next time right here on Lawyer Talk. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
This has been a paid program.